Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we're once again talking about Dragon Age the Veilguard. With only a few days left to its official release, some review codes have been going out and people have been leaving their reviews of this game. However, there seems to be a huge disconnect between the largely negative reviews from gamers and YouTubers versus the largely positive reviews left by the traditional media outlets. And a lot of people are now starting to speculate that these review codes are being gatekept by EA and BioWare in an attempt to make sure that all of these reviews are positive to make people think this is a 10 out of 10 game, so they'll go out and purchase it. Now, they might be gatekeeping those codes, but I'm not going to gatekeep you from an amazing new merch drop right here with Advanced GG. 1 minute here, let's see the new Spooky Shop. This is a drop I did alongside my wife, Darling Straub, who's also a VTuber. If you want to go crazy and get the huge bundle featuring all of our new items and artwork here, you can do that with this bundle option. But if you want to focus on my stuff, there are various bundle options for that as well. But let's look at the items individually because you can purchase them by themselves too if you want. So we have a new flavor jar right here, Rev's Blueberry Sparkle. It is a blueberry ramune flavor. It is very delicious, just like every other flavor jar from Advanced GG. You can see it features some new artwork of my character, and it is a energy supplement. And speaking personally, this has replaced my intake of most of coffee and energy drinks and pre-workout I used to have. This gives you the same energy boost as those products, but without the crash and also the shakiness that comes with those. And you can see too, if you order this, you'll get the limited edition label on the jar. Next up are the ice shakers, which you can see there's this Wisteria, very bright version, and also the traditional black. You can see right here, it features the beautiful new artwork here. And as always, the quality of these ice shakers is unmatched. They are very durable, and also they keep your drinks cold all day. On top of that, if you're looking for an affordable option, if that's important to you, you can get a sticker as well featuring this new art, kind of self-explanatory. And the last thing I want to show you guys is something we've never done with Advance before, and that is a new desk mat. You can see it features the new artwork. Honestly, I'm biased here, but this looks really, really nice. And if you buy the bundles or the individual items, just make sure to use code REV at checkout to get 10% off your total order. I'll put all of the relevant links and info in the pinned comment. And as always, I am very proud to be a partner with Advance. I'm also a very proud consumer of their products, and I know it's a big hit in our community, and a lot of people who give it a try end up becoming regular customers. So let's get back to the content for today. So Dragon Age the Veilguard, as I mentioned, very positive reviews in the traditional media outlets. You can see all of the 10 out of 10 ratings, some 9 out of 10s. You would think this is a potential Game of the Year candidate. In fact, the reviews of this game are much more positive than Black Myth Wukong, for example. But if you start looking at some of the reviews themselves and what they're saying, you start scratching your head a bit. So here's IGN, right? They gave this game a 9, right? This is higher than Black Myth Wukong, the way they reviewed that game. But their caption is very strange. It says, if we never get another Dragon Age, at least it got to go out on a high note with Dragon Age the Veilguard. So that's very strange. They're giving a 9 rating to a game that they're also implying might kill the franchise. And if you look at, for example, Kotaku, here's what they find important. In Dragon Age the Veilguard, the dialogue option lets you declare your character is trans, and you'll see a lot of that. And this one is really, this is the chef's kiss right here. So this is a Metacritic approved review from Checkpoint Gaming, who gave this game a 100, a perfect score, and they focus most of the review on inclusive adventuring, saying that they have options across the board to be gay AF, like they are in real life, according to this reviewer. And one of the positives mentioned about this game is inclusive. It's very inclusive in very thoughtful and wonderful ways. And also they say it's a testament to diversity and inclusivity. I know that is a very important function of a game to anyone who's looking at a potential game to buy. They want to know how diverse and inclusive it is. Yeah, I think you get the point. There is a huge focus on diversity and inclusion. And not that long ago, there was some rumors coming out where some insiders were claiming that this was going to be the wokest game ever. And they were called conspiracy theorists. And it turns out Another conspiracy theory is a chud fact, okay? This game is extremely woke, all right? I mean, this is some official dialogue from the game. So right here, they're saying that basically the people of the town don't feel comfortable in their own skin as a man and as a woman. And also, I mean, let's be real, we're seeing the finalized designs here, and I don't think any of them would feel comfortable in their own skin if they were designed in such a fashion, but there is some incredible dialogue here. So this was also another rumor that the companion in the game was going to be non-binary, and that is now confirmed as well, where this official dialogue says this: non-binary, I just said, and I'm going to use they instead of she from now on. Stunning and brave, but that's a big focus of this game, identity. So this is a real function of the game, establishes transgender identity and unlocks new dialogue options in future conversations. So basically this is a milestone and its reward in the game to establish transgender identity, and that again is a big theme. So here is the main protagonist, Rook, and some dialogue and options you're given, saying take a good long hard look at this. So it asks that whole dialogue about establishing transgender identity, and here's the dialogue options you're given. I'm getting there. I love who I am. Feels good to see the real me. And then down here, same thing, but the options are different once again, where it says scars are lessons learned. My scars are badges of honor. These scars are sexy. And based on the fact that the in-game character creation process allows you to have surgery scars from transitioning, I'm assuming that's what they're referring to here. And yeah, this is woke on steroids, ladies and gentlemen. And I'd show you more examples, but apparently, according to some, BioWare is doing a DMCA takedown of people sharing videos or pictures criticizing this game. Now, I can confirm this at least a little bit on my end because I had bookmarked at least 4 or 5 videos coming out from this game, mainly to show not only the terrible writing of the dialogue, but also the terrible delivery of lines from the voice actors. And I can confirm, when I checked my bookmarks a few hours later, all of those examples were gone, presumably because they were taken down by BioWare. But despite the media trying to boost this game and its image, there are plenty of reviews from YouTubers and other content creators like Skill Up here that are eviscerating this game. In particular, they are going after the writing and the storytelling, which used to be a very heavy focus and strength of this franchise, but in this game, it is laughably bad. And I want to play this little segment of this review because it is brutal.
The writing is frankly terminal. It lacks any nuance or wit or wisdom. It cannot communicate ideas except to say them aloud to the camera. It manufactures petty, unbelievable tension because it doesn't know how to create anything more real, and it's too scared to ever be truly confronting or dark for fear that it might make the audience uncomfortable. Every interaction between the companions feels like HR is in the room, and every interaction led by the main character, Rook, sounds like he's addressing an under-12 soccer team before a semi-final, or teaching toddlers how to properly share toys. The way you build relationships with your companions is so woefully outdated. Drawn-out quest lines completely divorced from the main plot, starring disposable villains and recycling the same settings, enemies, and bosses you find elsewhere.
So you get the point. That line about the dialogue of the characters sounding like they were written while HR was in the room is something very telling. I mean, that is kind of the whole focus of what people are worried about, and that's a woke ideology in this game, and that is a pretty good summation that relates to those concerns. But there is some other reviews that are making the rounds, including this one from an individual named Natalia, who you can see this translated from Spanish leaves a whole list of criticisms, including terrible graphics, boring and monotonous combat. The game doesn't run constantly at 30 FPS. Many of the dialogue options are noticeably made with AI. The whole thing is very linear. The options lead nowhere in terms of the gameplay. The creator of characters focused on trans and the LGBT community. There's inclusive language, on and on and on. And eventually they would provide this quote saying, "This game will be the tombstone of BioWare." And this would be a pretty famous quote people are using to describe this game. And given everything that's going on, the disconnect between player and YouTuber related reviews versus the media, there is some speculation out there that the review codes for this game have been heavily curated. So basically what BioWare and EA is doing, they are trying to make sure the people who have access to these review codes, they're going to leave a positive review. That's why they're only giving it out very selectively, and it's becoming extremely obvious. Now, a lot of these concerns began with this tweet from Wolfheart FPS here saying, 3 creators, myself included, were a bit more critical than others with our hands-on time with Dragon Age the Veilguard. Not a single one of us will be getting a review code with time to actually give opinions before release. Just thought I would throw that out there. Now, these concerns would be addressed by Fextra Life here, who would really go in on this after learning themselves that they're not getting a review code, despite being a very influential channel when it comes to games like Dragon Age. And this is also someone who spoke very positively about the franchise in the past. And in their critique of a preview they saw recently, they simply said the game has a lesser strength in terms of its storytelling, and that strength is instead focusing more on the combat, which is a flip-flop of how the franchise has traditionally been. That was the criticism, which is somewhat of a positive note, right? But that was enough for him to lose any chance of getting a review code, and let's listen to what he has to say here.
And you might have also seen Wolfheart's tweets about this topic on Twitter or X, and Luke Stevens' video about this topic as well. Both of those individuals were with us in California for the preview event, and both of them put out preview videos as well as ours. And I think between the 3 of us, we probably have some of the 3 most viewed videos on this topic, or at least most commented on, I would say. And if you read those tweets and you watch that video, you can tell clearly that they also feel some way that they were intentionally excluded by EA from review access for some unknown reason, likely because of critical comments they made in their preview video, even.
So basically, like he says, it seems that their mild criticisms of this game based on the preview they saw, they have been barred from having these review codes, which is a clear move by EA and BioWare to limit the chances that there's going to be negative reviews of this game. And this is done to mislead you. Obviously, they want to create a narrative that this is a perfect game and has all these stellar reviews, and that is something that you should check out. I mean, they are literally painting this game as a potential Game of the Year candidate, right? If you look at the way that these journalists are covering it, but when you hear people who have actually played the game who are just regular gamers or YouTubers, they have a very different opinion, and I think those people are the ones who slip through the cracks, and the main targets of EA and BioWare were these journalists they knew they would get a good review from. And let's hear a little bit more from this video.
Because you guys told us in no uncertain terms that you're waiting for reviews, and you're about to get a bunch of reviews that have been curated by the publisher for their likelihood of being extremely positive in an attempt to manipulate your view of Dragon Age the Veilguard. They want you to think there is a universal consensus that the game is amazing, thereby convincing you that you should try it, but also influencing future review scores, as it's difficult to be the outlier. If you've ever done a review for a game or for something, you'll realize that if you're the only one giving a high review score when everyone else is giving it a low review score, it's difficult. Or if you're the only one giving it a low review score and everyone else is giving it a high review score, it's a very difficult position to be in. So if you...
Yeah, I mean, there's that extra pressure when every review out there is positive. There's definitely pressure that puts on other reviewers to also give a positive review. I mean, some people will stand up for what's right and they'll give whatever their actual true review is, no matter what the other people are saying, but there's definitely some added pressure to that, and that's exactly what EA and BioWare want. They want these positive reviews to not only generate hype around this game among potential customers, but also to put pressure on future reviews to also leave a positive review so they're not standing out against the crowd. Now, unfortunately, these people who were not given review codes, they came about this whole situation very wrong. Now, remember that Natalia person earlier in this video who was absolutely lambasting this game, right? They actually got a review code because they claimed they were non-binary for the sake of basically convincing these people to give them a review code. And guess what? It worked. And that should really tell you the absolute state of Dragon Age the Veilguard. Really, this sums it up. People are just sensing that something's not right with the extreme amount of positive reviews coming from traditional media sources versus the heavy criticism from gamers and YouTubers who are not your traditional media sources, it really says that something here isn't right. And honestly, looking around at the early indications of this game, it is even woker than a lot of people had predicted. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. This game comes out in a few days, and I guess we'll get some more answers on how good this game really is. But for now, leave your thoughts about today's topic in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.